Welcome to The Explainer. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some of your best, most talented people just walk out the door? Well, today we are digging into one of the biggest and frankly most expensive challenges any company faces: employee turnover. We're going to look at why it happens and what it really takes to make great people want to stick around.
So let's get right into it. You hear all these buzzwords, right? The Great Resignation, the Great Reshuffle. But when you strip it all away, what we're really talking about is employee turnover. You know, that constant spinning door of people coming in and people going out.
And this isn't just some HR headache, you guys. This is a massive hit to the bottom line. Get this, some pretty conservative estimates show that to replace just one employee, it can cost a company up to 2 times their yearly salary. So for a manager making, say, 80 grand a year, that's a $160,000 problem. It adds up fast.
Okay, so at its simplest, every single time someone leaves a job, it falls into one of 2 buckets. It's really that straightforward. Either the employee raises their hand and says, "I'm out of here," that's voluntary turnover, or the company makes the call for them, that's involuntary. Understanding this basic split is absolutely the first step to getting a handle on the whole situation.
So let's start with the employee's side of things. What is going on that makes a talented person, someone you'd really want to keep, decide, you know what, I'm done? I can tell you, it's almost never a decision they make overnight.
And this right here, this visual shows something really interesting. Quitting isn't just a single event, it's a whole process. It's called job withdrawal, and it starts way, way before anyone even thinks about writing a resignation letter. You can see it in the diagram. It kicks off with job dissatisfaction, which then causes that person to start pulling away, either mentally or physically, from their work.
And that dissatisfaction, which is the fuel for this whole withdrawal process, almost always comes back to one of these 4 core areas. Maybe the work itself just isn't engaging anymore. Or maybe it's a rocky relationship with a boss or teammates. It could be about pay, for sure. Or sometimes it's just a fundamental mismatch with the person's own personality and what the job demands.
And this leads us straight to a term I am sure you've heard a million times lately: quiet quitting. This is the textbook definition of that psychological withdrawal we were just talking about. The employee is still showing up, they're still clocking in, but mentally, emotionally, they've already checked out. They're doing just enough to not get into trouble, and that's it.
All right, so now let's flip the script completely. What about when it's the organization that decides it's time for an employee to go? This is that involuntary separation we talked about. And this is where having clear, fair rules for a goodbye becomes so important.
You see, for any kind of termination to be handled well, and legally, it has to be seen as fair. But what does fair actually mean here? Well, it's not just one thing. It actually breaks down into 3 different kinds of justice. First up, you've got outcome fairness. This is pretty simple. Does the punishment fit the crime? You know, if 2 people do the exact same thing wrong, are they getting a similar consequence? It's all about consistency. Second is procedural justice. And this is all about the how. How did you arrive at this decision? Were the methods fair? Were they free from bias? Was the decision based on actual accurate information? The process itself has to be just. And finally, there's interactional justice. And honestly, this might be the most crucial one. It's the human element. Was the employee treated like a person, with empathy and respect, during what is obviously a very tough process? Messing this part up can destroy the morale of everyone who's left behind. And this right here is a perfect example of how you put all those ideas about justice into practice. A system like progressive discipline isn't about looking for a reason to fire someone. It's about giving clear, escalating warnings and offering every single chance for an employee to fix the issue before you ever get to that final step.
Okay, so we've looked at why people choose to leave and how companies let people go. Now let's get to the part we all really want to know, the proactive solution. How do you build a place that people don't want to leave to begin with?
The answer is all about intentionally building job satisfaction, because that's the direct antidote to that job withdrawal we saw earlier. And as you can see, it's not just one magic bullet. It's about creating an entire ecosystem where the work feels important, people know what's expected of them, their leaders have their back, and the pay and chances to grow are fair. But hey, even in the absolute best workplaces, disagreements are going to happen. People are people. The secret is having a system ready to go to handle those conflicts in a constructive way. And that's where something called alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, can be a total game changer for retention.
And ADR isn't just one thing. It's a whole spectrum of options. It can be something as simple and informal as a manager having a true open-door policy,
Or it can be more structured, like bringing in a neutral mediator or even using a formal arbitrator to make a final call. The goal is always the same, though. Solve problems inside the house before they get so big that someone feels like their only option is to walk out.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe the most forward-thinking idea of all. The really smart companies today are looking past just plugging the leaks in the boat. They are completely rethinking what an employee exit even means for the company's future.
Now, this is a huge mindset shift. Instead of seeing a departing employee as a lost cause, what if you saw them as an alum, like graduating from a university? There's someone who could become a future customer, refer another amazing hire, or hey, maybe even come back one day as a boomerang employee, bringing all sorts of new skins with them.
And building this kind of alumni network isn't rocket science. It's about the simple things. It's about handling departures with class and support, maybe even offering services to help them land their next gig. It's about creating easy ways to stay in touch, like a newsletter, and treating these former employees like valued members of your extended network, not like traitors.
So in the end, this is the question we're left with. Is managing that revolving door just about stopping people from leaving to save some money? Or is it about something bigger? Is it about building bridges instead of burning them, and realizing that every departure, if handled right, can actually become a long-term asset for your brand?